Hello and welcome, my connoisseurs of movies, TV show, and literature. You ready to shake things up? For all my new viewers, welcome. You may call me Luke Galaroo, and you are here to feast on my opinions of all things movie, TV, and book. Not too long ago, I gave a list of horrible fathers portrayed in media. And thank you again for the comment reminding me that Heinrich Romer from A Cure for Wellness needs to be on that list. Now this one, you can be a father. And this is a list of fathers I have found who could be redeemable, or in fact, became redeemable when they were given the opportunity to. Now, first father on this list is my teriyaki flavored Lee Pace. His father character is overbearing, exacting, and downright oblivious to the thoughts and desires of not only his children, but his wife. This culminates in him moving them from their nice little home all the way to the big city. However, when he's confronted by his actions, he starts talking to, and in fact listening to his family about making the moves he forced on them. Now, what movie is that? It's Marmaduke. About the big old dog. And Lee plays Phil Winslow, Marmaduke's owner. And once he starts putting his family before his career, they actually start living a happier, healthier life. Even if it is in the new city. Now, this is shown better. The next flavor is Sour Cream and Onion, Jason Isaacs. His character is shown way better for his redemption arc in the books than he is in the movies. And you're like, who in the world is this man you're talking about? Well, that's Monsieur Lucius Malfoy. Yeah, I know, he's a overbearing, terrible father. Because of the 10 centuries of heritage he forced on his son. However, when it came down to it, Lucius chose Draco over his ideologies. Because as I said, in the books, it is portrayed far better. Because the first thing he and Narcissa did, once the fighting started again, was run into the castle to locate Draco. To locate and protect their son. And Lucius was the first to not criticize Draco when instead of choosing a better pure blood match, he chose younger sister, still pure blood, mind you, Astoria Greengrass, and didn't complain or gripe about the fact that she was suffering from an inherited curse on her family. Not to mention, when his grandson was born, Scorpius Hyperion Malfoy, he didn't badmouth Draco of how he was raising his son. He didn't comment about letting Scorpius date a half-blood Weasley, of all things. So Lucius turned his life around. Yeah, could he have done it sooner? Not really. He needed that wake-up call of seeing what was important to him. And I honestly wish they had done the ending of the books in the movies. Because at the end of the books, all the survivors are in the Great Hall. Voldemort's body, Bellatrix's body, and all the bodies of the dead Death Eaters are in the hall, in that little room where the champions were at. So people could come in and disrespect their bodies. So they would know that the people they were afraid of were gone. and not coming back. But Harry's standing there in the Great Hall, and he's looking a circle to see who was there. And in a corner, you have Narcissa hugging Draco. But hugging them both so that Draco is pretty much sandwiched is Lucius. They showed that they were capable of actual human emotions of sorrow, sympathy, and basically general humanity. They also looked extremely guilty, like they didn't belong and were afraid they were going to be kicked out. But who could blame them after what happened during the war? Harry even testified that Lucius, Narcissa, and Draco had turned against and were fighting the Death Eaters in that war. So they weren't punished. Harry wouldn't have done that if he didn't think Lucius could turn his life around. But that's Lucius. Well, no, this is not Lucius. This is Daniel, for those of you who missed those earlier episodes where I introduced this particular wolf. Another redeemable dad, played by many a character, played by many an actor, though also portrayed by my sour cream and onion Jason Isaacs, is George Darling from Peter Pan. George starts his arc as this social climbing little loser who is bullied and pushed around by everyone so that he takes it out on his kids and his dog, Nana. When his children run away to Neverland so they don't have to grow up and listen to his rules, he decided that he needed to put himself in the doghouse, literally and figuratively. Because for the entire time they were gone, he slept in Nana's doghouse. The one in the house, in the nursery. But to make it so he didn't enjoy it, as his wife had accused him of, he went, no, I've taken steps to ensure that it is properly humiliating enough. He had hired people to carry him in that doghouse to work. And he did his job in the bank from that doghouse the entire time his children were missing. And when his children came back, he willfully and happily adopted all the Lost Boys Wendy had brought with her. Well, brought back with them. Giving them all a good education, a loving home, so that when the next adventure with Wendy's daughter begins, you would look at Toodles and see one successful person. You'd look at Nibs and see another successful person. All because one man put aside his own ambitions to look after his family and the family he chose to bring in. I mean, it takes a special person to adopt children. So anyone who adopts children and treats them like human beings and gives them the good life they deserve are heroes, in my opinion. But if you adopt a kid and abuse it horribly, shame on you. Again, that is my opinion. Another Oh well, it's Remarkable Father number 4. Or Redeemable Father number 4. Was talked about in the movie Box Trolls. Or I should say in the episode about box trolls entitled Eggs and Fish. Lord Portly Rind, voiced by Jared Harris. Now, in Eggs and Fish, you hear about how Lord Portly Rind is an obtuse, let the servants take care of his daughter, distracted by his own pursuits. And then he has this, oh my God, my daughter is more important than the cheese I like to talk about. The very fact that I have to say that sentence is very weird. Why anyone would value cheese and the consuming of cheese over their own flesh and blood. And I don't mean consume your own flesh and blood. That is disgusting. My camera just gave me a weird look. But if you think about it, it makes sense that I would say that, because I was talking about the consuming of cheese and how you shouldn't put it over your flesh and blood. It could be misinterpreted as, oh, consume your flesh and blood. Don't do that. That is just wrong.
You agree?
Yes, don't put cheese on your children. Those TikTok videos where they throw a slice of instant cheese on their kids is so stupid. And it's degrading. Those poor babies don't deserve that. Talk about teaching them early that it's okay to let somebody bully you. Just Pete. I'm ranting about a different subject. Though, again, as the movie progresses, he realizes that his daughter is more important, and he starts encouraging and supporting and realizing just how much his inattentiveness warped her little outlook on life. Because she is one morbid little character. She's adorable, but she's morbid. One of her comments made was, "Where are the rivers of blood? I was promised rivers of blood and piles of bones," when she went into the box troll lair, because that's what the villain had said the box troll's home looked like. That is why children need to be supervised. They don't have to have helicopter parents, but they do have to have parents going, "Why are you watching that? Isn't that a little bit too mature for you?" Now, in an honest reflection, yes, another episode of mine earlier on, you hear me talk about the Wishbone family. Frank is another redeemable father. Because like Phil, Frank started out as so much of a workaholic that he just didn't even have the energy to care about his family. He was like a borderline narcoleptic. He was so overworked and stressed that it was keeping him from a proper sleep schedule. And now, like I said, Frank is borderline narcoleptic because of just how overworked he is. However, like the Malfoys at the end of the Harry Potter series, when Baba Yaga is sent to curse Emma, the curse is unleashed. Emma grabs the kids. Frank grabs them all. So that they're this nice little shield to protect the babies. And Frank becomes the mindless automaton that is when you first meet as the Frankenstein monster. And again, as the movie progresses, Frank learns that he's more than a giant, hulking, do as he's told idiot. And when Faye, their daughter, runs afoul of an older mummy than herself, Frank steps up and beats the tar out of that mummy to protect his little girl and his baby boy. For more information on that, go watch Honest Reflection. He's a good movie. Or good episode, if I do say so myself. Yet another redeemable dad. And you're totally going to roast me in the comments for this one, is Vader. Yeah, you heard me. Darth Vader of the Star Wars saga. And before you roast me, do realize that when he first became Lord Vader, he thought his daughter died with Padme. He did not know they survived Padme's death. Not to mention, he didn't know there was two. Because when you read the books based on the screenplays, you find out that Leia was shielding Luke from Anakin. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Leia was hiding Luke. And then little baby instinct to stay safe, protected, and cared for hid themselves as they grew up. So Vader had no connection to them. Leia herself was raised so completely by Bail Organa and his wife that she didn't even know she had Force abilities. And it was said in later books, before Disney took over, when Jaina and Jason Solo, the twins of Han and Leia, asked, how come we didn't know our friend was Force sensitive? Luke answered, because they didn't know they were Force sensitive. You don't project your Force aura if you don't know you have a Force aura. That was Leia. So of course, Anakin's not going to say, hey, that's Padme's daughter. Because again, the trauma of losing her, specifically with the way the fan theory says that Palpatine touched Anakin with the Force, used Anakin's connection to Padme to siphon away her energy and give it to Anakin. There's no more links to those children because every scrap of Padme's energy is gone. It's assimilated into Anakin to keep Anakin alive. That's what Darth Plagueis had taught his apprentice. That is what the apprentice used to destroy Plagueis and Padme to keep Vader in line. Vader proved that Anakin was still alive, and Anakin was a good father because when push came to shove, Anakin chose Luke and Leia over the dark side of the Force, thus fulfilling the prophecy he was told he was going to fulfill at 9 years old. Now, the final redeemable dad is in the movie Space Sweepers. And you heard me talk about Space Sweepers in my egotistical God complex episode. I do not remember what it was called. But Kim Tae-ho, oh, it's for the best, was one of Flavor Richard Armitage's soldiers. And he found a 7-month-old baby. And because he was 17 at the time he found her, and he had never seen a baby before, he was enamored by her. And he adopted her and was the most attentive and loving father you could ever imagine. He spent bank to get her ears repaired because of the trauma of how he found her. But because he had become such a pacifist after becoming a father, he got fired because he refused to harm another living being because he felt guilty for what he had done to his daughter. And when he hit rock bottom, he became the abusive, and I'm not talking physically, but he was less patient with her. Go away, I'm trying to work. Brush off, inattentive, neglectful father. Pardon. That led to Suni dying. That tore him apart. So that, now, you might think with everything that Tae-ho did, he would have stayed on the horrible bad dad list. And you're right. He would have. If he would have, massive spoilers, kept Sullivan's $4 million and abandoned Putnam to get Suni's body. But he doesn't. He comes back and he risks his own life to help protect not only Putnam, but the rest of the planet as well. And then he spends the rest of his life trying to give Suni, not Suni, Suni's dead, Putnam, a life she deserves. Now, let me know, do you know of any other redeemable dads that I might have missed? Can you think of any great dads to help me fill out that list? Because yes, there will be a great fathers list coming probably in June, closer to Father's Day. Let me know in the comments if you know any horrible, or not horrible, I've got plenty of horrible mothers, redeemable moms, or great moms. I'm having trouble filling out that list too, because I will be making videos on those. Because why should dads be the only ones to get a horrible dad, redeemable dad, and great dad video? Now, as I've said in countless videos, these are my opinions. Feel free to disagree. Kindness is the key to understanding, so be kind to me and to each other in the comments below. Find the like button and tend to whatever injuries it may have sustained from overuse. Rescue the subscribe button from zombies. Bang the bell so you can run to safety. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!